Hello, welcome all. My name is Dipesh, and with me, Praseetha is there. So, welcome to Sports Analytics. So, this is about the safe harbor statement. So you can go through. Before we start, so this is Oracle free tier. We will practice this on Oracle free tier account, and this you can scan to start on. This is for Q&A. We have a Q&A button, and for there is a Slack channel as well where you can post your question during the session if you have any doubt. Yeah, this is our team who help us to build this and to present this webinar. Yeah, myself Dipesh and with me Praseetha. With that, let's start moving to the agenda. So our today's agenda is introduction to this overview of the hands-on lab. Register before going to the hands-on lab. We need a tenancy, and for that we will use Oracle free tier tenancy. Many of might have your own already created, or your commercial account or something, but we will request you to start with a free tier account. Then we will have a resource preparation, and then get registered in an NBI API to get the data. We'll load the data from that into our autonomous database. We'll create the connection, and then we'll analyze the data. So let's start. So after during resource creation, we will execute the Terraform script, which will create our entire resource, and then we will use data science notebook, and for that to load the data from the NBI app, we will use a Python script to load the data from a particular data source into our autonomous database. Then we'll connect to the database, and then we will do the analysis. So this lab is designed to automatically create an OCI tenancy, provision all needed product and services for the hands-on lab. Even if you have an OCI customer, please follow our trial free tier process and configure the steps in your tenancy. We'll see. We will unable to troubleshoot the your account. We will urge you to use the free tier. So definitely. So you will get some sign up bonus. So this is the page where if you go to the cloud.oracle.com, and you will get a sign up page. So you can click on the sign up button. It will take you to another page where you need to provide your location, your name, email ID, and then after that you will click on verify email button. So once you click on the verify email button, it will send a mail to your registered email, and then in the email you will get a button as shown in the picture below. So this button, if you click, it will verify your account, and you will get $500 credit for 30 days. Now, once you log in with your account, basically from the link given in the email, it will ask you to provide few details about your account. Few are pre-populated, like your country name. Those will be pre-populated, and here you have to provide your password. So you can provide your password and click continue. So these are the steps during account creation. So based on your country code, it will set your phone number. So that you can't change as in the previous page where you set the country. Based on that, you have to provide your phone number. So once you click continue, your account creation process will begin, and it will take some time for you to fully provision your account. Once your accounts gets created, you logged in into, this will be your home page where you will find your tenancy details from the top right corner. That's the user option. So this is all about registering your free tier. I hope this is clear. If you have any question, you can paste in Q&A. Next, we will jump into the Idcs application token creation. For that, you can go to the hamburger menu in your browser and type federation. So there will be a link appeared on the right side. You can click on that. Once you click on that federation option, it will take you to the federation page. So as shown in the slides. So once you reach there, you can go to the Oracle Identity Cloud Service using the link shown in the slide. So once you are there, you can add the application and service using the top right button highlighted in the slide. Once you clicked on that, you will land it in a page with few options like app catalog, SAML application, mobile application, confidential application, and enterprise application. You can select the confidential applications, and then it will take you to a widget where you can create the app. So the first you have to provide the app name, and if you click next, it will take you to the client details. So here you have to select configure this application as a client now, and few details you have to provide as shown in the slide. Once you provide those details, you have to scroll down. You will find the grant the client access. You have to click on the add button. You can type me and add there. That's all about the client configuration. You can click the next button, and the remaining are just you can skip for later. So once you clicked on the finish button, it will show you one pop-up. You can close that pop-up. So this is how your analysis token app is created, and you can keep this browser open. We will activate this token using the button provided shown in the slide. So you can click on the activate button, it will be activated. Once it is activated, let's keep the browser open. We will generate the token and we'll use it in our subsequent steps. So from now onwards, we will start into resource creation.
Praseetha, might be a good idea to just take a quick pulse and see. We kind of jumped into the IDS pretty quickly. Maybe we could do, if anyone's sitting waiting for your tenancy to still provision, could you click the raise hand button? There were emails sent out prior to the event that it would help step everyone through getting their tenancy provision, but we're trying to make sure we don't leave too many people behind. So if you are still waiting for your tenancy to provision, maybe let's just pause here for a minute and we'll see how many people are waiting for the tenancy.
Yeah, please.
See one. Okay. Oh, hi, Danielle. Nice to see you. I think, you know, the instructions that were sent out to you that there's a link in the chat. Just want to make sure you guys didn't miss that as well, to download the PDF. These are all the step-by-step instructions that Dipesh is going through. So if at any point in time you get behind, then just realize that we'll be taking a few pauses, and if you get to a point where we start, you can get caught back up with the instructions. We just might be a little bit ahead of you, but we'll make sure we pause in between each section to make sure everyone is caught up. So if there's anybody, I'm going to go ahead and lower your hand. Thank you, Janelle. Hopefully you're instant provisions. If there's anybody who is still working on the IDCS section, trying to create a tenancy, could you raise your hand in the section? So you need us to start back over and maybe go back over some of the IDCS provisioning if you want us to. I'm going to repaste the link again at the bottom of the chat, make sure everyone can get that. Looks like everyone might be okay. We have a couple of people that are a little behind, but I think for the most part, you're welcome. We should be good. So sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure we didn't lose too many people at the beginning. So Dipesh, off to your Terraform.
Okay, thanks. So this is, if you have created the IDCS token, you can go to this GitHub page. Here we have a Terraform script created for the resource creation. Once you jump into this page, you will find a button, deploy to Oracle Cloud. Once you click on this button, it will take you to the login page where you need to provide the tenancy details. You can change the tenancy here as per your tenancy details, and then you can provide, once you click on continue, it will take you the page where you will provide your user ID and password. So once you provided user ID password, you can click next. So from here, Terraform scripts execution starts. It will ask you few details. So you can just click on this. You just select. You can check this checkbox. Name is optional. It will be auto-filled if you are not giving any. And then you can click on the next. So in the next, this will be auto-filled. You don't have to change anything here, but in the same page, you can scroll down. You can come to the Analytics Cloud section, and here you have to provide the token. So how we will get the token? That application which you have created in the previous step, you have kept the browser open. You can go to the browser. So the way we have created, it's shown here again. So in that same browser where it gets created, you can jump onto the browser. You will find the generate token button. Click on that, and it will ask you to download and save your token summary in your system, in your laptop. So once it is saved, once you click the download button, you can choose customized scope. You should not choose available scopes. And then you can download the token. The token will looks like this. So in this token, it's a JSON, and that the key is app token and the value is the actual token. You have to copy this actual token and you have to paste it here in the Analytics Cloud part. Once it is pasted, you click on the next button and make sure that run and apply checkbox is checked. You can click the create button. So this is how resource creation will start. It will take around 15 minutes for your resource to be created. So I'll
okay, maybe. Yeah, and if anyone is stuck and needs us to, or have Dipesh show his screen, or feel feel free to post something in the Q&A or, mention something in the chat. But the analytics cloud portion, if you missed it on the slide, when you're in the Terraform page, you're going to scroll all the way to the very bottom of the page. So you'll see that there's a pretty long, tall page that you'll have to scroll down to in order to get to that Oracle Analytics Cloud section. So we'll just give everyone a minute. Raise your hand if you're getting behind on an extra step so we can keep track and make sure we don't lose too many people. And we'll give it just a minute just to make sure that everyone is good to move forward to the next step. I'm going to go ahead and post in the chat as well if any of you didn't miss the GitHub link in order to access where the Terraform script is. I just pasted that in there into the chat. So if you click on that, that will get you to the link. All right, well, we don't have too many raised hands. Dipesh, you must be doing a great job guiding everyone through here. So if anybody at some point needs us to slow down and answer questions, feel free to raise your hand and we will hop over to the next section.
Carrie, there is a question in the Zoom chat. To access the PDF, do I log in using my Oracle username or Oracle Cloud username? I'm unable to get the PDF. It says cannot authenticate the user account. Contact your system administrator.
Let's just hold here for just a second, make sure that you shouldn't have to have an account at all. You should just, it's a public link. And so let me verify. If everyone's on the Slack channel, can you upload it there, Praseetha, as one option for them to actually grab it quickly? And I'll re-download and make sure that we have a public link here. But if you guys are logged into the Slack channel, again, we'll drop the link in here for you.
Carrie, instead of pasting the link in the Slack channel, can we paste the PDF directly into the Slack channel so that candidate can download that? Candidates can download
Yeah, I was checking to see if Praseetha would be able to upload the PDF file there.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Okay, let me. And it's not the PowerPoint, right? You're doing the PDF here.
Yeah.
I just selected two. Okay. All right. We're uploading it to the Slack channel, and I am doing another test here. I just pasted a link. If you aren't on the Slack channel, please try and click this again. If not, we'll get it put into an object storage bucket to download. Is there anybody else that was able to? Can you raise your hand if you do have the PDF that you've been able to download? Okay, maybe we should pause here then for sure if people aren't able to get the hands-on lab and follow along, because
Praseetha, can you please check whether you can download this PDF? If you
Yeah, I
can,
have downloaded and shared it in the channel.
that lines. So it's uploaded into Slack as well. Many of you are unable to access the link, then you can try from the Slack to download it. Can you please share if you are unable to download from Slack as well?
I'm just sharing Slack link also. Jane had shared it in the past. I'm trying to reshare.
They're saying the last link gave that error too. So Michelle, you just go to, oh, there's your Slack link. Thank you, Jane.
Gary, I got a question here. Register free trial need a card. Yeah, but it is whitelisted, then we don't, it's not required. Gary, can you answer this?
Typically, what happens is whatever email you registered for this event with, that email was used to whitelist your account and make it to where you don't get prompted for the credit card. So if you're using the same account to sign in for your trial that you use to register for this event, then you should have, you should not get prompted for that. So first verify that. If not, if you go to the chat, let us know. Jane's helping to verify emails so that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting people. I'm going to drop this into some object storage as well, just for if anybody hasn't quite went out to do that. We'll go ahead and we're going to probably have to move forward into at least registering for the API. So maybe just go through this next session and we'll finish up the question, Dipesh.
Okay, so we'll move forward then.
Yeah, I think let's work on the API, and if you guys can follow along while we're finishing getting the links out to object storage for those of you who aren't on Slack. Otherwise, it looks like there's quite a few people who are getting it through Slack. So we'll hop over and do the next step so we don't get too far behind, and make sure we have one more area for you to download it. So go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. So we will get the data from this free NBA site. Here we will get the test data and we'll upload this data into our ADW. So for that, you need to log in. Either you can log in using your GitHub account, Gmail account, or email specific email. So it's normal sign up. So you can, once you sign up, you will get the key. Moving next. So this is all about the sign up steps in the NBA page, Rapid API. So once you logged in, you will landed into this page where you will get the API key to pull the data from here. So this is all about the reference architecture for this lab. Praseetha, can you please explain a little bit on this?
Yeah, sure. So today we will be doing these 4 steps. As Dipesh mentioned right now, there is an API from NBA, which we would be accessing to get the sample data for the NBA. And this data is just a sample data. This is something to note. It's not the accurate data that we would be using. And once we access this API, we are going to load this data into the autonomous database. using the data science platform. For this session, we would be actually just trying to use the API and load the data into autonomous database using the data science platform, but we would not be performing any MLs on the data science platform. In following sessions, probably in future, we would definitely have a detailed demo as in like how the data science platform can be used for applying the MLs on top of it. But for this today's exercise, we would be using data science platform to load the data from the given API into the autonomous database. Once we have the data into our DB, we are going to perform some analytics on the data that we have loaded. Since it is related to NBA, we will talk in detail as in like what kind of analytics we are going to perform shortly. Just to give an overview, we will create a lot of visualizations based on the data that we have, and we will try to predict as in like which team has a better opportunity to win in the given session.
Yeah, add to that, the data we will populate into autonomous database. We will use a Python script to pull the data and to populate into autonomous database. So we will see those scripts in our upcoming slides. Thanks, Praseetha. So this is how up to the registration part in NBI API is done. We will move to the next part where we will go to the autonomous data warehouse and we will go to the DB connection. In these steps, we are downloading the wallet. So after going there to the DB connection, you will find a button called download wallet, and you can set your password accordingly, and you can click on the download button. It will prompt you to save in your local drive in your laptop. You can save it, you can keep it. That will use in our analysis section to connect to the ADW. So this is how we will create our ADW. We will get the wallet, we'll sign up in NBI API to get the data. Now we will come to the home page, and in the hamburger menu, analytics API and data science. Once you go there, there will be a project created, ODS project as part of your Terraform script. You can click on that, and then you can go to the notebook session. So once you click on the notebook session, it will show you an open button. You can click on the open button. If you face an issue here, you just raise your hand. In this step, we will see what's the problem is. You might face issue, especially in this step. So once the notebook is open, you can open a terminal by clicking on the plus button on the top left corner. So once you clicked on the plus sign, there will be another terminal open, launcher, and from in the launcher there are different links. One of them is for terminal. You can click on the terminal and it will launch you a command prompt bash shell. This is the cell from where you can install the conda. This is the command mentioned in the slide to install conda. So if you face any issue in conda, please raise your hand or paste a question in Q&A. So it will, during installation process, it will ask you the version. So when it will prompt you for the version, you just press enter. No need to mention any specific version. So default is fine. Then this is the command to activate the conda. Once it's run, the conda is activated. After that, as I mentioned during the reference architecture section, that we will use a Python script to download the data from the NBA API into our ADW. So to get that Python script, you run this wget, and with the object store link, it will download you the Python script using which we will populate the data.
Maybe let's just pause here for a second and make sure we have all the links posted in here for everyone to, I'll go ahead and drop some of these links inside of the chat for those of you who were able to start off and come along so far. The first one I'm putting in here is the conda install statement. And then that will run for a few minutes, and then we'll go ahead and activate with the next link. You guys can just grab those out. It might be easier to pull these off with out of the chat rather than trying to pull them out of a PDF. And then that's the notebook link there. So just wanted to make sure everyone saw those links there. Again, if there's any questions, please raise your hand, post in the Q&A or chat.
It'd be nice if you post where you stuck, or you're able to follow, or how far behind you, or so would be nice.
All right, well, I'm not seeing any interaction or questions yet, Dipesh, so please feel free if you guys want us to slow down or if you have questions to raise your hand, and we can even go back in a section a little bit to start back over while these other things are happening.
Right. So if you have any doubt, you are unable to follow some step, you have any doubt in the previous steps, you just paste your question, ask your question here, and we'll go back to those pages and we will clarify.
Vishal, feel free. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, post and let us know what kind of questions you're having. Yeah.
Can we paste this same thing in the Slack channel as well? If Vishal is unable to copy it from Zoom chat. Okay, Vishal is facing.
Facing arrow. Oh, are you seeing it? Okay, good. Are you answering Vishal's chat, Dipesh?
Yeah, Vishal, you are facing creating stack. So in which step, what is the Terraform error? Can you please let us know?
The error is cannot get region from Terraform configuration instance principal.
So
Okay,
you set your okay now. Okay. Did you set your home region? Sorry, no.
You know, it might be best to move to the Q&A so that we can respond in line to some of the questions. If you guys are having issues, maybe post something. So
Right.
It looks like we're getting a couple of the cannot get region from Terraform. Okay, I was going to say, which region are you in? North US. So Ashburn?
North US. North US, is it Asborn or
Mhm. So, okay, well, we might have to just we'll take down your name so that way we can have help troubleshoot. I don't know if we're going to be able to solve this one because we have not ran across it yet to have any steps in how to solve that. So we may need to follow up with the error code and let you know what we can do. So I've got the names. If unless if you have another thought where they're both in a region, I'm guessing it's something region-wise.
Manikanta, I saw your region is Hyderabad. So do you have any issues?
Manikanta is also having the same issue, Dipesh.
Okay.
Cannot get region from Terraform configuration instance principal.
Okay. So I think this week need to debug offline.
Yeah, we're probably not going to be able to solve that during the lab in here, unfortunately. But there was one other question about an IDCS access token identifying a Stripe and service administrator. Make sure that when you are logged in, that you're using, well, I guess you are an admin of the tenancy when you log in with your trial. But again, this is only for if we have a tenancy that was created today. So these Terraform scripts aren't going to run in a different tenancy potentially because of the provisioning of the VCN and other policies that need to be created. So if you are trying to do that on an instance that is not new, then that's possibly it. If you are, then we'll take it offline and answer in line and let you go ahead and continue. Sagar, if you could comment on what your issues are in the Q&A, that would be good. I think everyone else, we know what the issues are, and we'll have to work with you one-on-one while Dipesh is moving forward.
Yeah. So, okay, then I'll move. So this is the script, as I mentioned, to load the data into our ADW. Once you double click on the script, it will open and it will either show pop-up to select the shell, or if the pop-up is not coming up for you, you can select the particular cell from the top right corner of the window. So the shell which will select is Conda environment data explorer P37 CPU v3. Okay. So once this script is open, you can use the key API key which you have received from the NBA API page, and you can paste it here such that it can use this API key to fetch the data and load into ADW. Now you can pull the wallet, the ADW wallet which you have downloaded in our previous section. You can just drag and drop this into this project section, and you are good to go. After placing the wallet, after uploading the wallet here, you can mention the wallet name in section ADW connection parameter in the Python script. So it will be the same name as mentioned as the name you have uploaded. Now you can select the run menu and run all cell. This will run this entire script one cell after another. So these each of the section we are linked as a cell. And this, when each section will be completed, you will get a success message under that cell. And during this execution of the cell, in this box you will get a number, and the cell which has not yet started, you will get a asterisk marks in this. So after one by one every cell execution, at the bottom of the Python script page, it will show some sample data as shown in the slides. So this is how the data is loaded into autonomous database. Now we will create the connection. Yeah. So for that, we will go to the hamburger menu, Analytics and AI, and we'll choose Analytics Cloud. Then in that page, you will find your OS instance is created. It could be of different name. If you are using that Terraform script, it will name as OAC. So you can click on that, and then you landed into the OAC instance page. In that, you will find a button analysis to go to the analytics homepage, or there is a URL provided in the below instance details section. When click on that, you can land it into analytics homepage. Praseetha, over to you.
Thanks, Dipesh. Let me start sharing. You're able to see my screen?
Yes, Praseetha, I can.
Okay, thank you. So let's maybe wait for a moment to see if everyone can catch up with us.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions before we get to the creation of the OAC? Krishna had raised the hand. Dipesh, can you?
I'm answering that. So, Praseetha, if we can go to the slide back, or I'll name them. So, Krishna, you can just click on the hamburger menu, type Federation, and you will get a link. Once you get the link, you click on that link. Okay. So after getting clicking on the link, you will get the application services, users, groups details. So you click on the top right corner of the application and services, and then it will list various.
Are you sharing your screen? Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't think reading the instructions is probably going to help if we can hop over and show. I'm happy to do it as well.
So, can you see my screen? Carrie, can you see my screen?
Sorry, I couldn't find the mute button. Yep, I can see your screen. Krista can see it as well. So yeah, I think if we could just go back over this section really quick and see, so he can see the slides. We also pointed out the pages, but it sounds like some people were still having trouble downloading.
Yeah.
The
so to create the token, Krishna has a question like how to generate the IDCS access token. So I'm answering that. To generate the IDCS access token, you click on the hamburger menu as shown in my screen, and then you can type the federation. It will appear on link. You click on the federation. It will take you to a page where you will get the URL to go to the IDCS application page. So once you click on the Oracle Identity Cloud Service console link, you will land it into IDCS application, users, group. There are different sections is there. You can click on the application service, the top right in that section. There is a top right corner. There is a plus button. You click on that. Once you click, you will get various applications. So one of them is confidential application. You select the confidential applications. Once you select it, will take you to the page from a wizard page where you can generate the token, create the application for and generate the token. And now in this page, you provide the name of the application and then click next. And in the next page, which is the client page, here you have to provide few details as mentioned in the slide. You just check the checkboxes: JWT client, credential, resource owner, and on behalf. This is a long page. You should scroll down a little bit and you'll find a section called grant the client access. So in that, you click on the add button. You will get a pop-up where you have to search myself, ME, and then click search. Checkbox will appear. Check that and add. Once it is added, you press the next, which is resource. For resource, you can skip for letter. Similarly, you can go to next. Web tier policy, that also you can skip for letter, and then you click on finish. So make sure the enforce grant as authorization is unchecked. One pop-up will appear. You just click on the close button. The pop-up will be closed, and then your application is ready. Once the application is created, you have to activate the application using the activate button on the top right corner as shown in the slide. Once it is activated, you can keep this page open to download the access token. So to download the access token, if you see there is a gray button called generate access token. Either you can download it now and keep it for your future use, or you can download it when it is required. Does it answer your question? Yeah.
Thank you for covering that. Oh, he says yes. And thank you. All right,
Okay.
we could just give it a minute. We have a few questions coming in here just to make sure that before we hop back into OAC. Again, if you guys are looking to access the instructions, the PDF, that's the step-by-step that we're previewing here, you can do that by going and logging into the Slack channel, that the public Slack channel. The links are in the chat. We can post them again here as well if you're trying. Otherwise, I guess if you would like for these instructions to be emailed to you specifically, feel free to put a question in the QA and request them to be emailed with your email. We'll reply back private with notification for it, but that will allow for you if you're unable to get it from the object storage or Slack channel.
So let me stop sharing, Praseetha.
Okay.
So let me text the button.
All right, any more questions coming in? Again, we've got the links to the notebook to access and download the notebook file. We have the PDF for the instructions out there as well, so that if you did get a little bit behind, you can follow through with the step-by-step instructions there and get your everything up and running. And if there's anything else that you guys are missing that you need that would be helpful, please just drop it in the chat or Q&A, and we'll get that for you. Right, I don't see any new questions or chats coming in, and I don't see that we currently have any attendees. So we'll just take a quick check here for any attendees that need us to stop and go back over another topic or have any specific questions. If you want to raise your hand and let us know that you're still trying to catch up, and then post something in the Q&A of what issue you're having or would like for us to cover. Okay.
So the Python script
that,
link I mentioned in the Zoom chat, you can follow. And also I'm mentioning that link in our Slack channel.
Yeah, if we could, yeah, let's post it on the Slack channel as well. I think some people are having troubles copying some of the links that we're putting from the chat for some reason. So we'll maybe move those over to the Slack channel if you could, Dipesh.
Yeah.
All right, over to you, Praseetha.
Thanks, Ken. Okay, so let's see a quick recap of what we have seen so far. So we have tried to register to a free trial, tried to prepare our required resources, and we got registered access for the NBA API. And using a Python script, we have tried loading the data into our autonomous database through data science platform. Now, given that we have the data into our autonomous database, we are going to see the steps as in like what analytics can be performed on the data that we have retrieved from using the NBA API. To start with, we are going to first create a connection from the Oracle Analytics Cloud. And then we are going to analyze the 2-point and the 3-point shots and a few other win and loss options each team has. Okay, let's get started with creating a connection in OAC. As you could see on the home page, there is a hamburger menu, and with that you can look for analytics and AI option. And once you click on the analytics and AI option on your left screen, you would have a list of analytic options that gets listed, out of which you can pick Analytics Cloud. So once you have picked the Analytics Cloud, we would, on the left screen, what you see here, we would see an instance that has got created. So you can click on the PyDay instance that you see here. And once you click on PyDay link that we see here, it will take us to the details page for the given instance. And now we are going to get into the actual analytics homepage. And how do we get there is like we can click on the analytics homepage button that we see on top. So once we click here, it is going to take us to the analytics homepage here. And now we are going to create a connection in this page. On your top right corner, you would be seeing the create button. When we click on the create button, you can choose the connection and what type of connection we are going to create. For this session, we are going to create Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse connection. And once we click there, it asks us for some details, as in like a connection name, what is the username, password,
the service name, and the client credentials that we will have to key in. The username would be admin, and the password would be, it is mentioned in the PDF also. The password would be welcome exclamation 2345. And the service name would be your name underscore hi. The service name, whatever you had provided, underscore hi, that is the service name that you had to choose. And the client credentials is the wallet that you had already downloaded. So you can pick the same. And once you have all these data given in as input, we can click the save and create the connection. So now when you refresh the page, you will see a new connection that has been created, and you can see it with this icon. And if in case if you have given NBA, it will be with the name NBA. So far, any questions with creating the connection in OAC?
There was one question that came in about asking if it's the same password and user ID details that are in the PDF. Yes, so when you're doing the OAC connection, and maybe we can go back up one page. There you go. It's number 9 in the PDF. So you'll see that it is admin case sensitive, so capital W with an exclamation point. Thank you, Praseetha.
Praseetha, just to check, I hope your screen is here because I can't see that screen.
I can see her screen.
I can see your photo.
It's on the slide.
Thanks. I multiple windows.
Okay. Okay. If no more questions, we can go to the next section, as in like what we are going to do with the data that we have loaded and the connection that we have created in OAC. Okay. So before getting into the actual analytics or performing some calculations on the data, I would just quickly go through the data that we have loaded in from OAC, and there are a few abbreviations. We would quickly go through what those abbreviations are. So if you see FGA, it is nothing but the goals that have been attempted, which would include both the 2-point and the 3-point shot. In case if it is just a 3-point shot, we would have something as FGA3. And what is FGM? FGM is the goals that have been made. Again, it includes both the 2-point and the 3-point shot. If we want specific 2-point shot or 3-point shots, it will be as in like FG2M and FG3M, which we would be actually creating dynamically and getting the results out of it. And what is FTA? FTA is the free throws that has been attempted. FTM is free throws that has been made. PTS is nothing but points. Game date is the date on which the game happened. The game season is the season of the year. A game home team score would be the final score of the home team, and visitor team score would be the final score of the visitor team. The player first name and last name would be the actual player's first name and last name respectively. The team full name is the actual team name. So this is the data that we have loaded into the autonomous DB. And here we would be performing few calculations on the data that we have gathered. So the main two calculations that we would be doing is like, or we would be coming over the charts is in like, just to give an overview, we would be figuring out the 2-point accuracy, the 3-point accuracy, and the list of teams and what is the probability for each team to win or lose. So quickly we will get into the lab, as in like how we can create all these data dynamically. So on your OAC homepage, you would see a NBA connection that we just created. Can you please click on the NBA connection? When you click on an NBA connection, you would see a page as shown below. Expand admin, and what you're going to do here is we will create a data asset by dragging and dropping the NBA player data. So if you see here, NBA player data is something we just created. So you can just drag and drop to the right of your screen. And as soon as you drag and drop, you would see all the data that is being populated here. Let me pause here for a moment. Are you guys able to?
Oh, we do have a question that's coming in about the instances taking a while to provision. So they're unable to get the analytics instance up and running. I was wondering if we wanted to show anything, or I guess maybe we can take this one offline. Praseetha looks like she's responding. Oh, maybe Dipesh is responding. So if you, okay, great. So Krishna, he's going to help you out. I think all the other questions that we have so far are around the registration of getting the free trial stuff set up. So any other questions that you guys, feel free to raise your hand if you want us to just pause for a second while you get caught up, and we can just wait a minute. Okay, well, looks like Dipesh is helping Krishna and no one's raising their hand so far, so I think we're good.
Okay. Let me move on to the next slide. So once you have dragged and dropped your NBA player data onto your right side of the screen, we can just click on save and save with a particular name that we want to. Here it is mentioned as NBA data. You can also save with the same name. And we can click on the create workbook, which should be given on the top right corner of the screen. Okay. Once we have the data asset created and the workbook created, we would be able to create columns, calculations, and we can perform analysis. So as you could see here, the other point to mention, on your top center panel, there is a black panel that comes in. There you could see options like data, visualize, and present. As we are going to create a visualization chart, please click on visualize here. And since we have created a new workbook, please click on save as and create a new workbook with a new name. Okay. So we have the workbook created now. Let's start the analysis. please click on the data tab, which you see on the top center panel. Once you click on the data tab, this is a screen that we would want to note. You would see the NBA data that you had just created. We have created only one data set. So you could see only one here. Now, you can work on the NBA data separately. So to work on this NBA data, which is the data set that we created, you can just click on the pencil icon, which is shown here. And this is going to open a new tab for you in the browser, where you can perform all the calculations or manipulations that you want to do. And that would be reflected in your workbook automatically. So after this step, you would have two tabs in your browser opened. And once you open the data set, you can quickly click on save in case if you want to make any changes, and if you want to save the data, click on the save, which is on the top right corner next to the create workbook. And in case if you want to go back to the actual workbook that you had created, you can just go back to the previous tab and you would be able to see the workbook that you had created. Okay. So now we would be creating the columns and the calculations and perform some analytics there. So to create the column in the data set page that we had opened, you'll have to click on the plus button, which is next to the search bar. And when you click on this plus sign, there is a new column that gets created, and it asks for the name and what the column is going to be about. So let's quickly see what are the columns that we are going to create. So this is the first column that we are going to create, which is what is the 2-point goal that has been attempted, or the 2-point shot that's been attempted. That's a new column which is going to create, and how are we going to manipulate is from whatever the data that we have already loaded. And we already have the columns FGA and FG3A. So we are going to calculate FG2A by FGA minus FG3A. And when you guys type FGA, it automatically you can see a drop down that comes in, and you can pick the column of your choice. And we have a validate button on top that helps us to validate the expression that we had given here. And once we have validated and it is successful, please click on the add step button on your right, which is in green color, to create the column. Okay, so now we have created one column here. Let's go over the next. So now we are going to create our second column, which is called as FG2M. It is nothing but the number of 2-point shots made for each row. So how are we going to calculate this? It is by subtracting FG3M from FGM. So the formula expression would be FGM minus FG3M. So as we tried before, if we start typing FG, so you would get a list of columns that is already available, and we can pick from those columns. And we are going to repeat the validation step and add step for every column that gets created. So the next column that we're going to create is with the name winning team. So this is going to generate a case statement. So either you can copy paste into a notepad and start typing into the page, the OAC page, or you can just use the PDF access and refer and start typing this case statement. So here we are going to calculate as in like if the game home team score is greater than visitor team score, then it's going to be home for the winning team, or it is going to be visitor. The next column that we are going to create is home visitor type. Again, this is going to be a case statement where we are going to check if the team ID is going to be equal to the game home team ID. If both are same, then it's going to be home, or else the visitor type is going to be visitor. Okay. The next column is win or loss column, where we are going to check if home visitor type is equal to winning team, and if it is equal, then the result would be win, otherwise it would be loss. Okay, so we have the columns created now. Let me pause a moment here and see if there are any questions.
There aren't any questions that have come in, but please feel free to raise your hand if you want us to take a little bit of a pause here, or we'll wait just a minute for to see if any questions come in. But as of right now, I don't see any. Dipesh, do you have any questions from the Slack channel that
Not yet.
you need to address?
Nothing, not yet. Not yet. Okay.
Okay, well, we only have about 15 minutes left, so I think we probably should keep going, so that way we can, for those who are, we have quite a few people still on, so I'm assuming that they're able to be following along. So I think, Praseetha, you're good to go.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Kelly. So we have created a few columns now. So the next step is to change the game season from the measure to an attribute. So how are we going to do that? We will get to the game season column, which you will see on your left. You can either use mouse to scroll up and down to check or get to the game season column. And once we get to the game season column, click on the options. So how do we click on the options? In the first top right corner screenshot, if you could see, there is a small 3 dots that has been available. So when you click on that, you would find the options menu that comes up. And from the options, click on convert to text. And then click on the measure hyperlink from the bottom left. So once you click on convert to text, there is a panel that gets opened on your left bottom of the screen. And there is an option as treat as, which is going to be changed to attribute. Okay. So similar steps we will follow for the player names also. So as you know, we already saw that we have player first name and player last name. Now we are going to concatenate both and create player name. It's a new column that's going to get created. So how do we do that? We are going to go to player first name, click on app options, and from the options, we are going to click on concatenate. Once we click on concatenate, there is a small window that gets opened. We can give the name as player name, and we are going to merge column player first name with the column player last name. The delimiter for it would be space. Once this is done, we would be able to see a new column, which is player name, that has got created. Let me take a pause here. Are there any questions?
Not yet. So okay, if you are behind, let us know so that we can take a pause. Or if you're stuck somewhere, please raise your hand. Okay, the step where you stuck.
And we're coming down to the last 10, so we might have to hop over and get our calculations built and hope that everyone else can kind of wrap up the last of the sessions with the video or instructions to get them close enough. So I think we're good to hop over to calculations.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now we will get to the visualize tab. To get to the visualize tab, we can go back to the workbook, which was your previous tab before opening the data asset tab. So once you click on visualize, we are going to create few calculations here. So how can we create the calculations? On your left panel, below the columns that you see for the NBA data that we created, there is a my calculation section. So when you right click on the my calculations section, so we get an option to add the calculation. So let's quickly add few calculations. Okay, so these are the calculations that we are going to create. First one is the 3-point accuracy. So I'll just go over the first one in detail. So the 3-point accuracy would be the name of the calculation. And what is the expression that we would be giving is Fg3m / Fg3a. So this is similar to the column that we created, as in when you start typing Fg3, you would get a list of columns that we already have, and you can choose from those. So we have few other calculations that we create. And for each calculation that we create, we can definitely validate it. And once the validation is successful, we can click on the save to create the calculation. So we have a 2-point accuracy calculation that gets created, which is nothing but the 2-point shots that is being made and the 2-point shots that's been attempted. The shot accuracy is the combination of both the 2-point and the 3-point shots that's been made. we have points from 3s and points from 2s. These are the actual points that has been made, multiplied by its corresponding point. If it is a 3s point, it will be multiplied by 3, and if it is 2s, it will be multiplied by 2. And the number of games that has been conducted. Once we have all these calculations created, we are quickly going to create few visualizations here. So before I get into the visualization section, quickly, are there any questions?
Nothing from my side.
Okay, let me move forward. So how are we going to create the visualizations? So as you could see on top, there is data, visualize and present. We are going to choose visualize. And once we choose visualize, on your left, you would see the list of columns that we already have and the calculations that we just created. And also you see there was this home visitor type column, win-loss column, all these we created just now. So even those you would be able to see under this category. Okay, now let's get started. So to start with, we have a game season column. So just drag and drop onto the drop here to add filter location. And once you drag and drop here, you would be able to pick a visualization for it. So after dragging and dropping, we are going to click on the team name, right click on the team name, pick a visualization. And how do we pick the visualizations? There would be a lot of visualizations that can come in. So we can pick any of these. So for different data, we are going to pick different kinds of visualization. So let's see one by one. Okay. So here we are going to first drag and drop the 3-point accuracy. And how do we get to this visualization is here. So we have right clicked on the 3-point accuracy under the calculations session. Dipesh, you had raised a hand. Any question?
Sorry.
Okay. So we can right click on the 3-point accuracy and we can pick the visualization that we want. So here we are picking up the list visualization. So that is why when you drag and drop into this panel, you would see a list of data that gets occurred. So you have dragged and dropped the team name, which lists all the team names. Drag and drop the 3-point accuracy next to the team name and 2-point accuracy next to the team name. So now in our visualization, we can see 2-point accuracy, 3-point accuracy, and the team name. So in our previous slide, we saw that 3-point accuracy and 2-point accuracy are next to each other. So just to make it look better, we can bring 2-point accuracy below the 3-point accuracy. So how do we do that? We can just select 2-point accuracy and drag and drop below the 3-point accuracy section. So once we drag and drop, it gets placed in this way, as you see in the screenshot here. And you can move your team names to your left, or you can retain it to your right. But here in the screenshot, we have moved it completely towards the left. And on the right, we have 3-point accuracy and 2-point accuracy data. So now we are going to perform few more, create few more visualizations. So far we just dragged and dropped one calculation or one column at a time. So now we are going to have multiple options selected and try to create chart out of it. So in this case, we are going to choose both 3-point accuracy and 2-point accuracy together. You can hold on the control button and pick both together. And once you have chosen both, drag and drop in between the 3-point accuracy and the 2-point accuracy in the visualizations panel. So how do we position it correctly is once we drag, you would see a green line which helps us to indicate as in, like, before we actually drop to a place, it helps us to indicate as in exactly where it is going to get dropped. So as soon as you drop both the 3-point accuracy and 2-point accuracy calculation here, it would quickly come into a table format, but we are going to change the visualization here. So there is a fourth option here. As soon as you drag and drop, there is a tabular format that comes in, and you would see on your top right corner for that chart, there is a change visualization option. So once we click on the change visualization option, so there are a list of options that we get, out of which we are going to pick the donut option. Once we have picked the donut visualization, we are going to see the 3-point accuracy data and the 2-point accuracy data in this form. There are few changes that we can do. To make those changes, click on the visualization that we created just now for 3-point accuracy and 2-point accuracy, select it. As soon as you select, on your left bottom corner, you would see a panel with the options that we can configure for this visualization. With those options, we can change the center radius from 40% to 90%. And once we change from 40 to 90, let's see how it looks. As you would see here, so as we change the center radius from 40 to 90, there is a change in the visualization that we see here. So similarly, we are going to drag and drop points from 3S and points from 2S calculations that we created in between these two visualizations, which is 2-point accuracy and the combination of 3-point accuracy and 2-point accuracy visualization. So in between these two, we will have to drag and drop the points from 3S and 2S together. And by default, you will see this tabular format. You can pick the fourth option on your top right corner of the chart and choose the donut option here to change the visualization type. As we did before for the previous visualization, we can change the center radius from 40% to 90%. So now, drag the 2-point accuracy tile between the donut visualizations. So we have created two donut visualizations here. One is the 3-point accuracy, 2-point accuracy. The other one is points from 3S and points from 2S. So in between these two, drag and drop the 2-point accuracy tile. So while you drag in, this green bar is going to help you to know exactly where you're going to place this tile. Okay, so once we have this data, we are going to work on 4 different columns now, which is 3-point accuracy calculation. And in the columns, we are going to pick when loss, team name, and PTS. PTS is nothing but points. So all these four we are going to choose together by clicking on the control button. Click all four. Once you have selected all four, drag and drop it next to the donut visualizations that we just created, or in other words, to the extreme right, you can drag and drop this data. Once we have dragged and dropped this information, we are going to do some configuration, as in like what x-axis is going to be and what is y-axis going to be. So to make these changes, in your visualization panel on your left side, once you select this visualization, you would be able to see an option to choose the x-axis, y-axis, the color, and the trellis. So the x-axis here is going to be the 3-point accuracy, y-axis is going to be the team name. In case if you see some other data that is already loaded in these places, you can just, for example, in case in the value section, if you see 2-point accuracy, for example, you can just drag and drop the 3-point accuracy over whatever data that you see here, or you can drag and drop as an extra x-axis column, and then remove whatever was existing by default when you open this panel. And in the color section, we are going to pick PTS, and in the trellis rows, we are going to pick the win-loss. Once we have chosen all this information, the visualization is going to look like this, where the coloring differs based on the points. And on the left, if you see, it is having a list of team names under the win and loss category, and what is the point that each team has scored. So now we have created a visualization. So we need not repeat the whole set of steps again and again. We have an option to duplicate the visualization and start working or editing the same visualization that we created before. So for that, how do we go about? We will just click on the menu here, and in the list of options that it occurs, click on edit and duplicate visualization. So there is another new visualization that gets created. And for this one, we are going to change the x-axis to 2-point accuracy. The rest all are going to remain the same as is. So since you have created the duplicate visualization, you might see it next to each other. And now we are going to bring down the 2-point accuracy by team name or points or the win and loss that we had calculated below the 3-point accuracy visualization. So from the left panel, once you bring down the 2-point accuracy, you should be able to see something as in this right screenshot. Now click back on the 3-point accuracy option. Select the legend position and mark it to none. Change it from auto to none. And we are going to draw a reference line here for this visualization. So how can we do that? Once you select the 3-point accuracy, there is a window that gets opened on your bottom left corner. And there you will see these options for the legend position. And apart from that, there are a list of icons that get displayed. So we are going to pick the last small one, which is the analytics icon. By clicking on that, we have a list of options out of which we are going to choose the reference line. Once we choose this, how do we see the data to be. As you see here, there is a reference line that gets created on your top right screenshot that you see here. There is a reference line that has got created for the 3-point accuracy. So now we are going to drag and drop the number of games into the rightmost panel. And in the filters, we would choose win-loss, and the category we would be choosing the team name. In the filters, when we pick the win-loss, for this, we are going to pick the win. So we have the number of game style. Click on edit, duplicate the visualization as we did before. Click on the win-loss filter that we had newly created. And instead of win, now we would be choosing loss. Next, we would be picking game date, win-loss, team name, 3-point accuracy, 2-point accuracy. All 5 we would be picking together. By using the control button, we can choose all these 5 calculations and columns. And we would be dragging and dropping and placing it into the visualization panel. So the win and loss, since it's next to each other, you can rearrange it as we have done before and move it next to each other or make it smaller and drag and drop this new visualization that we created using the scatter chart below the win-loss section. So the end result should be something as you see on your rightmost screenshot. And click on the visualization that we currently created. And these are the data that we are going to configure. The trellis rows is going to be win-loss. Y-axis is going to be 3-point accuracy. X-axis is going to be 2-point accuracy. Under the category section, we will be picking team name and the game date. The color would be the team conference. And the tooltip would be points from 3S and points from 2S. So once you pick all these data, this is how the visualization is going to look at. And team conference, as we saw before, it is based on the region. So here we have East and West, and based on the colors, we would get to see how the data is scattered and where it is dense. So we are going to create a reference line for this visualization that we created. So as we did before, click on the visualization on your bottom left corner. You will see a small window or a small panel in which there can be multiple icons. You will have to choose the rightmost analytics icon and choose the reference line. And measure. For adding this measure, we can also click on add statistics and add the second reference line. And the first reference line, the measure would be 2-point accuracy. And for the second reference line, the measure would be 3-point accuracy. So in case if you don't see a 3-point accuracy or 2-point accuracy, you would have to change it accordingly. So one would be 2-point accuracy, the other one would be 3-point accuracy. Once we have done all these, this is how our final visualization chart should look like. As you would see here, we started off with creating the 3-point accuracy and the 2-point accuracy. And at the bottom, we have the points that has been attempted or acquired from 3S and the points that has been acquired from 2S. On top, we would see the 3-point accuracy by win, loss, the team name, etc. And we have a reference line based on which we can decide as in like which team is going to win or lose. And there is a 2-point accuracy visualization at the bottom. And there is a reference line that we just created for this visualization also. And this is the accuracy calculated by region. Any questions?
I don't see any questions coming in. Maybe if we can go back one slide quickly. Thank you everyone
Yes.
for joining and staying on. There's still so many people hanging in there to see the end of this session. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the some of the capabilities within OAC that when you're doing this kind of analysis, you're able to you know, pick your team and filter. And I don't know if we have time to go through and show that right now. But the as you see your teams on the side, make sure you're selecting your team so that you can see how important it is that the 3-point accuracy really drives the team to win. The top bar with the 3-point or the reference line, the top middle horizontal chart really differentiates that the success of win versus the 2-point accuracy. So you really have to be able to make sure that you're increasing that 3-point accuracy to be able to see the teams win. But go out, you can multi-select the teams, see how your teams compare to other teams. And this has really just been the orchestration of building out that pipeline, getting your tendency, leveraging a little bit of data science, even though we're not doing machine learning algorithms yet. We plan to. Leveraging some Python scripts and you know, getting a database up and running and getting into Oracle Analytics Cloud. You guys can connect into other databases, import other data with Excel or CSV files, and go play and hopefully be able to learn a little bit more about the products here. So I think since we're so over on time, if you just want to hit the last few slides there, Praseetha, and make sure everyone's aware of a quiz that we have coming up. So feel free to share your event. We've put the Slack channel items on there. If you go out to Oracle Live, you'll see that we have some new events here as well to run workloads your way on OCI. And last but not least, we have a quiz that you can go out and take, bit.ly/pi-quiz-2022. So of all the sessions that you go and you attend, you're going to be asked different questions about all of them and get your knowledge tested. And this will be one session where you'll see some of those questions there. So after the event's over, make sure you're going out and taking the quiz. So thank you, Praseetha and Dipesh, for presenting the lab today. Sorry for those of you who we had some login issues. Hopefully those will be able to get resolved, and you'll be able to have access to the recording, and you have the PDF so you can go back and redo the lab after. So looks like we have one last question coming in here. We'll hang around. If you guys have questions, feel free to hop in and post the questions. We'll reply to them. But otherwise, thank you for joining the lab and spending some time with us.